Familiar Wilson's Media. Relationships are the story.
You are made of meat, my friend, all the way down.
The following podcast uses words like and also. If you're not into any of that shit, then now's your chance.
3, 2, 1.
Run.
Super familiar with Wilson's. Get it!
Welcome to Super Familiar with the Wilsons. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Josh, and we're the podcast about Marriage 2.0 with all of the side quests.
Many, many side quests we have.
Yes, and one of our little side quests is called Winthrop. He's our 8-year-old.
It's not a little side quest. It was an unexpected side quest, but
that's right.
He takes a lot of mental energy.
Changed the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Rolled a nat 20, and here he is. I picked him up from school the other day, as I do almost every day, and he says, "Dad, I want to teach third grade or be a YouTuber."
Okay. Those are very different goals, but okay.
I want to be a teacher because you get free snacks and it's fun, but they don't make much money.
True story, Winthrop.
But I thought it was interesting that he said he wanted to be a third grade teacher. He's in second grade.
I don't know what he's expecting, but I have a feeling he's going to be disappointed.
But it's just interesting how it's like human nature to be like, well, I don't want to be anything in second grade. I don't want to be a second grade teacher because I know what that looks like. So me, the peak is a third grade teacher.
I, as a lifelong teacher, would encourage him to maybe go toward YouTubing.
You think there's more money in YouTubing?
I just think there's maybe less stress in YouTubing. I don't know. Can you go to college to be a YouTuber? Is this a degree path?
I don't think so. I think, well, actually, you say that. I'll bet you in a couple years, if it's not a degree path, it will be.
Yeah, you know what I
Can you imagine? You cannot be a YouTuber now without a college degree, and you need to send in your resume and to the YouTube people, and then they hire you, and now that's now ruined and corporatized.
I would actually prefer that because some people have a YouTube channel and lots of followers that I wish wouldn't be talking. I didn't know I learned something yesterday. He was watching a video of some guy who he only watches kids YouTube. We don't turn him loose on regular YouTube, but there's still some stuff on kids YouTube. I'm like, I don't get it. So he was watching a video yesterday, and this guy buys all of these snacks and mixes them together to make one snack.
We did that. We used to do that.
I know, but what he was doing was buying content creator snacks. So, like there are all these different content creators have their own like food marketed, like Mr. Beast has candy or whatever. The guy went into Walmart and asked to find one of the YouTubers' candies, and the sales associate was like, "Oh no, we have a whole YouTube section." So there's just a YouTube section in Walmart for all of the foods created by YouTubers. So it is becoming very corporatized.
Yeah, which means it's already had its death, and now we're feasting upon its rotten flesh.
Yeah, so
until the next thing. Like, I wonder what the next thing is going to be. Like the next social media or the next video app is just going to be, we shoot it straight into your brain, right?
Yep.
That's the only thing left. Or like giant holograms in the sky. What's left?
Maybe. I don't know. We were at Whole Foods yesterday, and because Whole Foods has been absorbed by Amazon, everything is Amazoned at the checkout. There is a place where you can scan your palm. So I don't know what Amazon has done, but it picks up like I don't know, it's the mark of the beast, 666. I don't know.
It's definitely playing into like the old Christian stereotypes here.
Well, I remember thinking that we were all going to get tattooed on our wrist and that's how we were all going to be tracked. So he's sitting there with his palm, trying to pay it with his palm. Like, no, bud. It's not just anybody's palm. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's not just anybody's palm.
You don't have enough credit on your palm
You
yet.
have to register your palm. Yesterday also was joke day at school. And so he was researching a joke to take in. And it's all second grade jokes. And he was telling me one as we were driving. And he said, "Mom, somebody said, is my wallet an onion? Because every time I look in it, I cry." And he goes, "I don't know what that means." Because wallets aren't a thing, right? Like he doesn't really, you have one, but does he see you pull money? Like you don't look at it and not have money and cry. Like we don't really have cash anymore.
I mean, I have 40 British pounds in my wallet.
Buying you nothing in the YouTuber section at Walmart.
No, wallets they still sell wallets on end caps at like Marshalls and stuff.
I
Wallets
understand that, but I'm telling you that his experience with a wallet is, we had to explain to him what it meant because then he said it to Muffy and she said That's real, Winthrop. I feel that. But she doesn't have a wallet. She just has an app on her phone that's connected to her bank account.
I think the next app or useful video app, I got this teacup here. What if like I could have a screen on my teacup? What if there was a screen on the bottom and so I could be drinking my tea and then also watching a video?
I mean, that's basically what we do at the gas pump anyway. Like this technology exists out in the world.
I freaking hate that, man. Is that widespread? I would guess that it is because these are national chains. But you drive up to the gas pump and it's all you don't want to be there. It's already unpleasant. And then the gas pump basically starts to yell at you to buy things. It's so loud. And it's weird because to me, the soundtrack of gas pumps used to be Harry Styles and She Was.
As it was.
Yeah, whatever. But now it's just people yelling at me like about what? I don't even know. I'm not there to. That's why I have my phone at the pump so that I can amuse myself and look at a screen. I don't want to be staring at the gas pump.
If you were on your phone, it isn't supposed to make like the gas tank explode or something. Wasn't that what we were all told?
Yeah, well, clearly that is some BS. You know, I'm waiting for the day, and this has probably already happened somewhere, where I go into the bathroom stall, I close the door, and there's a commercial showing on the backside of the door.
I'm sure.
I'm trapped. I have no choice.
I'm sure that's a thing.
What if you go into the bathroom, you sit on the thing, on the throne, on the whatever, and
it's
all of a sudden,
toilet.
On the toilet, thank you. And like you buckled in, it buckles you in, and you have to watch the commercial before you're allowed to leave. What if it's a 3-minute commercial? You have to do all your business within that stretch of time, no matter what, and then they just eject you out.
I don't like this. Train of
all
thought.
of these
It's
things
anxiety
are
inducing.
This is the world that we're rushing towards as everything is on fire and corporations take over more and more and commercials are going to be everywhere. You're going to be walking along, you're going to look down at the back of someone's shoes, 2 tiny little screens, advertising Best Buy.
I mean, we're already advertising we are all walking advertisements when we wear any kind of brand.
Yes, but people are going to rent out now the back of their head, right? So I don't have to see the commercial playing on the back of my head, but I get money because everywhere I go, I got this hat, and on the back of my head, there's a Gap or Old Navy commercial.
Welcome to our comedy podcast.
No, this is all great. I love it. Everything is content. Speaking of everything is content, we had our first real perimenopause argument yesterday, like legit question the relationship type of perimenopausal argument.
Is this content?
Well, it is because I just want to warn everyone out there, it's coming for you if you have a significant other who's going through perimenopause. It's coming for you and just prepare yourself for it. My favorite quote from you yesterday was, "I'm sorry that I'm putting you through hell." Mm-hmm. You remember what my response was?
We're going through it together or something?
No, I said, no, you're going through hell and you're taking me with you.
That's right. I thought it was going to be, don't yell at me in response. Like what I need you to do is not yell at me while I'm yelling at you.
Yes, so that was the crux of this argument. You were raising your voice at me on the phone. We don't need to get into the particulars of the argument because it doesn't matter.
Well, I was yelling because it was on my Bluetooth and I didn't think you could hear me.
Lies and damned lies. So you were yelling at me on the phone, and I am not a yeller.
You're not. You're really, really not. I am. You're not.
But I have had a particularly interesting 2 weeks during my daytimes. These last
2 weeks,
few days. I was going to say a few days because it's just I don't even know. Time doesn't mean anything anymore. So I finally I yelled back at you.
Yeah.
And then that
did not go over.
That started an argument, and I said, "How am I supposed to handle it when I'm upset?" And you said, "You can't yell back at me."
I said yelling back at me is not helpful. I didn't tell you not to yell back at me. I just said it wasn't helpful.
I'm quite certain that you were pretty adamant that I am not to yell back at you.
Well, and then I just hung up. But I did say goodbye, so it couldn't be considered hanging up on you. I just said, I'm getting off the phone. Bye. So I said goodbye. So it wasn't just hanging up. I just didn't want to say things that we were going to regret. After we had already said
more things.
More of the things.
Well, we did iron it out, and we established that sometimes I might raise my voice in response to you raising your voice, and we just have to deal with it somehow.
I don't like it.
It's not fun. It is not fun.
It's more not fun for me.
What? Here we go. God. Here we go.
Can we skip to the part where we go to the tavern with the ovaries and Jeff? Jeff said he'd come to the tavern with me and my ovaries.
Yes, that's right. Perimenopause and menopause is when your ovaries pack up and go to a tavern and
In
say,
the next town over or something.
see ya.
Yeah, not even this one. We're leaving this
Your
one.
mom went through bad menopause too, right? You were
Well,
telling me
she
that?
went through it early, like in her early 40s, and I'm going to be 50 in a couple weeks, so it's just now hitting me. But I think, though, because I had Winthrop when I was 41, I think I remember the doctors telling me that pushed it. So, yeah, she went through it early, but then I remember her, like, my mom was a pretty soft-spoken person, slamming the cabinet doors so hard that, like, the counters were shaking, and I took my nephew outside, and we just wandered around for, like, the rest of the day because it was intense.
Yeah, no, it's nothing that I would wish on my worst enemy. And, we joke and I joke, but I know that I have to be more sensitive. And I promise I will be. So no yelling from me. That was my one yell for the year or whatever. I mean, it's pretty much been that long anyway. But let's skip on to happier subjects. Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day. And you are one of those.
I am a mother.
You are
It's
a
true.
mother. So you know all about bad advice from moms.
Why? Because I give it? Because I received it? Why do I
I'm quite
specifically know
certain,
about this?
first of all, you also are a teacher, and I'm certain as a teacher you've heard really bad advice given by moms, and even like in your little moms friends groups I'm certain you've heard things that have been ridiculous. I'm certain that even like in the history of your mom giving you advice, there have been some clunkers, some things that like, oh, well, that's ridiculous.
No, my mom just used to tell me that the Holy Spirit knew everything that I did and told her about it. So I was just terrified all the time.
Holy Spirit really is kind of Santa, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to give you a little quiz here. This is not game time. This is a Mother's Day things here. Bad advice from TV moms, the quiz. First one, which TV mom told her son, everyone who isn't us is an enemy?
Oh, God.
Was it Marie Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond? Was it Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones? Or was it Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development? Do you know all those characters?
I never have watched any of those shows, but I'm aware of them, so I'm going with C.
You think it's Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development that says everyone who isn't us is an enemy?
Yes, I do.
Wrong. Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones.
That seemed way too obvious.
Oh, yes. So she's the ruthless queen mother of Westeros who raised her children to view love as power, enemies as everyone, and poison as parenting. If there were parenting Yelp reviews, she'd have 1 star and it would explode. Who warned her child, gossip is the devil's telephone, best just to hang up?
Probably my mother.
Was it Tammy Taylor from Friday Night Lights, Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek,
Definitely
or
not.
Lois from Malcolm in the Middle?
It was definitely not Moira, because Moira enjoys a good gossip. A.
It is Moira Rose from
No
Schitt's
way.
Creek. Yes. Her.
No, she enjoys herself a gossip.
Yes, but she also enjoys perhaps giving contrary advice to what she really
She
believes.
was a really bad advice giver. That is true.
And really, really questionable clothing choices as well. Was your mom a gossip at all or no?
No.
Oh,
Unless it was
church gossip, right?
Unless it was a prayer request.
That's right. Prayer requests as gossip is definitely a thing I was raised with.
You know what the worst is? The unspoken request. That's like the vague booking people do on Facebook now or social media where they're like, I'm having a really rough time. Think of me, but they don't tell you what it is. I also don't like it when you hear that people died from a short illness. I need more information. What was the short illness? Was it a stroke? Was it COVID? Was it like...
Was it being caught in the bed with someone else?
Right. What was this short illness that happened? Yeah. No, the unspoken prayer request used to drive me nuts.
Those of you who weren't raised in the church, there would be a time where they would take prayer requests. And so we're going to have a time of out loud praying, and we want to know what it is you would like for us to pray for, or the dude in the front of the thing to pray for. And people raise their hands, be like, my dog Sparky lost his tail, or... whatever. And then someone raised their hand and says, I have an unspoken request. Okay, then what are you doing? Why are you saying it? What's the point?
Well, because the whole thing was like, the Lord knows your request. So we just have to...
Well, then why say, if it's unspoken, you just spoke it?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's just because they want attention.
Of course it is. All right, next one here. Who declared, I am the only authority in this house till I die. Then you can do whatever you want. Was it Kitty Foreman from that 70s show, Lois from Malcolm in the Middle, or Rebecca Pearson from This Is Us?
No, it is Malcolm in the Middle.
That is correct. I think that's the only one you've gotten right.
Well, it's
so
because
far.
I only watched the two shows on either side. I watched This Is Us. I watched that 70s show and knew it wasn't those two. So process of elimination.
She was an interesting parent because she was definitely the one yell first and ask questions later.
Nice.
Kind of like my dad. So there you go.
Awesome. Maybe that's why you don't like it when I yell.
Maybe it is. That's right. As long as you don't go bald, we're okay, though.
I don't yell. I raise my voice so you can hear me.
Okay, who said to her daughter, "There's no such thing as too much coffee"?
Me.
Was it Lorelai Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls, Deborah Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond, or Carla Tortelli from Cheers?
No, it's definitely Gilmore Girls.
That is correct. So my question to you is, what bad habit do you think that your children are going to pick up from you?
Well, maybe coffee, because the 18-year-old does not like coffee. She drinks green tea like you, but
I didn't start drinking coffee until I was mid-20s.
I started drinking it like around 14. I mean, I started drinking it early with my mom.
Do you think that's why you're so short?
Maybe. Also, maybe just genetics, because my family is short. But Winthrop has decided he wants to try coffee, and he's had it a couple times with no, because I don't drink it sweet. I drink it with cream, but no sweetener, and he likes it. So, I mean, we've got an 8-year-old who's ready to be hopped up on caffeine. So that's probably a bad habit that they will get from me.
That and the yelling. Okay. Who lived by this philosophy? Guilt works better than discipline. Was it Betty Draper from Mad Men, Livia Soprano from The Sopranos, or Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development?
Also my mom, but in the form of Christian guilt. I'm going to go with The Sopranos.
That is correct. The guilt that you were given, was it like passive-aggressive, or was it just straight?
No, it was more passive-aggressive, because it was like, if I didn't want to get up in the morning to go to church, it was like, well, you know, Christ can walk up the hill to Calvary for you, but you can't get up to go to church. That's the kind of guilt I was given.
It worked until it didn't?
Yes.
Who said, "I have 8 kids. I raise them like veal. I keep them in small spaces and feed them milk"?
Good Lord. I have no idea.
Was it Peg Bundy from Married with Children, Carla Tortelli from Cheers, or Lois from Malcolm in the Middle?
I'm going to go with Carla, because I don't think the other people had 8 children.
That is correct. 8 children, though. Can you imagine?
Double the amount we have.
Right, but we haven't even ever had them, well, very rarely. For a small amount of time, we had them all in the house together.
Yeah. Like right after Winthrop was born and right before Daniel went to college.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then it was still only half of the week, because the boys were with their other set of parents for half of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know. 8's a lot.
But we had a bigger house then as well.
Yeah.
All right, last one is, if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about while I'm eating this casserole.
Okay, take away the casserole. 100% was told that many, many times.
Was it Rebecca Pearson from This Is Us, Deborah Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond, or a real mom somewhere?
A real mom somewhere.
That is correct.
My God. My mom would also say like, because I whined a lot. Shocking. And
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
You don't strike me as a whiner.
Yeah, but have you met our children?
Yeah,
because
but
they do it. Clearly, they got it genetically.
Yeah, but you don't whine. I mean, when you get angry, it's not whining. It's very forceful and yelling at me on the phone while I'm driving.
I was
sorry.
also driving.
Okay.
Are you ready to let this one go, or do we need to be here for a minute?
Go. What would we do if we stayed here for a minute?
You just keep reiterating the same things you've already reiterated. And I would say, okay, and then we'd move on. So let's just pretend that we did that. What was it? No, my mom would say, like, either cry or stop. But if you're whining, I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
That's vicious. I want you to cry, or I don't want you to cry, or I will make you cry.
And I used to get, like, and I used to get spanked, right? My dad only spanked me once. My mom spanked me probably every other week. And
is that what happened to your bottom?
yeah, it's swollen still.
It's swollen still.
Shut up. But the problem was, I really loved those paddle ball things that had the rubber band the rubber ball attached with the thing. But I knew when it broke, she was going to put it in a drawer, and that's what I was going to get spanked with. And then, so it was just like, I really want that to play with, but I don't want it in my house because I will eventually get spanked with it. And then she also, like, she would say, go to your room, like, and you knew what was going to happen. And then my nephew, who is 7 years younger than I am, And he lived with us for a long time because my brother, his dad, died when he was 3 or 4 from brain cancer. See, I tell people what happens when people die because I don't want you to try to figure it out. I digress. That's a side quest. Anyway, my nephew lived with us for a long time. And when my mom would tell me to go to my room because I was going to get spanking, he would say, "Can I watch?" And she'd let him. And I was really, was worse.
You have never told me this.
That was worse. So the very
Would he laugh?
Oh, yeah. For the very few times that he actually got a spanking, I was like selling tickets, like out in the neighborhood being like, "Come watch. He's going to get a spanking," because it happened to me all the time.
So are you saying that if you didn't have one of those broken things in your drawer, you wouldn't get spanked, or she would grab the cast iron
She'd just
and do
use
it
her
with
hand.
it? But I would feel like the paddle thing would hurt less.
I don't know. It was wood. It felt like, I don't know. Anyway, we don't spank our children. So it's a thing.
No.
Because I don't.
Because we don't have any of those little paddle
That's
things.
right. But I also don't subscribe to the, "I need you to listen to me because you're afraid I'm going to hurt you," instead of, "I'm just teaching you how to be a better human."
It's a problem because my thing right now is I hate threatening him with taking away screen time or doing this or that, but it's the only thing that works. There's no intrinsic motivation for him right now to listen to me when I tell him it's time to do this or time to take a bath. I have to threaten to take something away, and I hate doing that.
Well, I mean, I think as long as it's not a threat, it's a consequence, then that's different. Threatening means I'm telling you this is going to happen. I'm not actually going to follow through on it. Right?
Oh, I always follow through on it, and he loses his ever-loving mind
Well,
every
one would
time.
think he would learn.
No.
You're not hitting him. You're not yelling at him. You're not berating him. You're parenting him. You are setting consequences for actions, and that's absolutely fine with me. He doesn't like it, but it's fine with me. My mom also used to do, like, she would count. Did your dad ever count? Like, we count with him, right?
I count with him. I count to 3.
Right. So my mom would count to 3, but I knew if she got to 3, I was getting a spanking.
Right.
And she would tell me, like, I vividly remember her telling me one time to go clean my room. And I said, "I'm not going to do it." I was standing, and I was maybe his age, maybe a little bit younger. I was standing in the hallway, and it wasn't a very long hallway to my room from the living room. And she said, "Go clean your room." And I said, "I'm not going to do it." And she said, "Amanda Jane, go clean your room." And I'm not doing it. And she said, "Okay, I'm going to count to 3. If you are not cleaning your room, you will get a spanking." So she said 1, and I stood there and said, "I'm not going to do it."
Yeah.
And she said 2, and I started backing up. "I'm not going to do it." And by the time she got to 3, I was in my room, cleaning my room, saying, "I'm not going to do it." So I wouldn't let go of the, like, refusing that I wasn't going to do it, but I was actually cleaning my room. My aunt one time called
I'm really starting to think that some of this is not menopause.
It's just genetics. My aunt called my mom one time, and my mom's name was Shirley, and she was like, "Shirley," she was like, "I've been trying your counting thing like you do with your kids, and I'm on 25 and he's not done it yet." Oh, yeah. Anyway, are we done with the bad advice from others, or are there more?
Trust me, if you give any bad advice, I'm going to write it down, and I'll just bring it to our listeners.
Also, listeners, what's the worst parenting advice that you've received from either your mom or your dad or your grandparents or caregivers, whoever took care of you in whatever way they tried their best to do?
Yes, definitely send that to us, familiarwilsons@gmail.com.
That excellent song by our second son, ACJW. Nope, I do it wrong
AJCW.
every time. Bad mothering advice. AJCW.
AJCW. Yes.
Sorry, Andrew. Means it's game time. And we haven't had a flashbacks in a couple weeks, so we're going to have a flashbacks. This is a thing that you can play along with at home from the New York Times. And Josh is going to try to anchor events in history. You ready? Do you have your paper? It's under here.
Oh, okay. Can you just do that thing where you pull it out from under my computer without knocking my computer off of the thing? Very good. You did it. You ever seen that clip from Jim Carrey?
No.
He was recording The Grinch That Stole Christmas, and there's a scene where he is supposed to pull the tablecloth from underneath all the plates on this table in his kitchen. And what's supposed to happen is that he's supposed to pull it off, and all the stuff is supposed to come off. And there's the joke that he's just screwed it all up. But what really happens is Jim Carrey goes to pull the tablecloth, and everything stays on the table.
So he did it perfectly.
So he did it perfectly, and instead of like cutting and then reshooting it, he just then instantly ran back and knocked everything off the table, which makes for a much better scene anyway.
And did they keep it in the movie?
They did.
That's so good. That's so good. All right, are you ready for your first event?
Yes, go ahead, give it to me.
All right, so now when you play Flashbacks on your own, it's going to give you the date to set your timeline, but we're going to give this to Josh and have him try to guess the date first. So U.S. troops start to seize and burn Canadian towns. Not the Britons, just one Briton. Britain responds later by torching the White House.
Oh my gosh. So this was like a couple weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
So let's say, I freaking have no idea. It would be after the Revolutionary War. So 1790.
1813.
Damn, I was going to say in the 1800s. Okay, there were
right, so
no
1813.
points. So 1813.
Yeah, and that one doesn't really count for points anyway. Okay. All right, here's your real one for points. On the oldest known papyrus, a ship survisor. Nope, did I say it wrong again?
You said papyrus and then a ship survisor.
I know. So can we start that over, please?
Oh, so I should edit this?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
You're not going to edit this. On the oldest known papyrus, a ship supervisor keeps a diary of his life on the Nile. Day 25, hauling stones. Day 26, hauling stones. Day 27, hauling stones.
It's just like some people's social media feed now.
Right.
Let's see. So that's going to be like BC. That's going to be like 900 BC.
Okay, so for the sake of this game, you just have to say if it's before or after 1813.
900 BC, yes.
Okay. But I'm going to tap it, and you get circa 2600 BCE.
Oh, damn. 2600 BCE. You mean board people existed back then as well? Mm-hmm. Wowzers.
All right. Next one. The first U.S. space station, Skylab, is launched. It has books, games, and even darts, but the most popular way to relax is simply by watching Earth. I guess that's like we watched the moon.
Yeah. Would you do that? Would you want to go into space?
No. I used to want to be an astronaut for like half a second. And this was even after Challenger happened. But then I decided I didn't want to do that. Would you go to space?
No, I think that I'm too anxious. Especially since all these planes falling out of the sky now. I'm going to get on a rocket ship. No, thank you.
Katy Perry just did it.
The whole time staring at her damn phone, not looking out at space or whatever. She's looking at her phone and taking a selfie. Our world is doomed.
Well, and then she came back to Earth and kissed the ground and said, like, we must respect the mother. But let's talk about the amount of environmental damage that your $5 billion space flight just did.
Exactly
anyway.
that. Well,
Okay.
now that she's done, now she's in favor of no one else doing it. Okay, so 1973 would be Skylab.
All right, so after 1813, 1973 is exactly it.
Bam!
How did you know?
I know everything.
You don't, because clearly you didn't know circa 2600 BC.
That's old news, boring. Go ahead.
Okay. Venice's Great Council begins choosing the Doge, its ruler. The role is for life, so to limit power, the council picks old men who won't live long. Parenthetical text, it works.
Okay. Well, that's clearly going to be between 2600 BCE and 1813. So we're going to put that at like 1500.
1172.
Oh.
So you're still correct. You're still getting all of these right, but just not your side quest game, which is
I feel like the
date
last thing that we did, the last iteration of this game we did, it grouped everything all together within a period of like 50 years and made it very difficult. These are like thousands of years apart, so this is a lot easier.
All right, the Texas pilot Bessie Coleman helps popularize barnstorming with her aerial stunts. For one of them, she walks on her biplane's wings in midair.
Okay, so biplanes would be circa 1936.
Did we watch Carl Pilkington do this?
We
watched
did.
Somebody
Pilkington
do this.
got up on a wing.
1936?
Yep, is that right?
1922. Close.
Okay. 1922 biplanes. All right, go ahead.
To end their second war over Kashmir, India and Pakistan make the Tashkent Declaration. They vow to settle their disputes without violence.
Yeah, how's that working out for them right now?
Oh, not well.
I have no idea. This could be hundreds of years ago. Well, no, it couldn't because Pakistan hasn't been around that long. But this could be last week or this could be 10 years ago. I'm going to say that it is probably after 1973. So we're going to say 1980. It's probably later than that.
1966.
Damn, wrong. Frick. Okay,
Right, so that's your first one wrong.
1966. India, Pakistan. Have you seen the video? Did I show you the video of the changing the guards at the India-Pakistan border?
Yes. I feel like you did.
Where it basically looks like a dance-off.
Yes, you did.
If you want to, I guess, look back on a more peaceful time between the two nations where how they settled their disputes was dance-offs, then you should look for that video.
Having been jailed in Siberia for subversive activity, Dostoevsky draws on his prison experience to write the very, very long novel, Crime and Punishment. I ad-libbed it very, very long.
1850. That's probably later than that. Oh, damn it. I don't freaking know. Oh, shit. 1900.
Okay. 1866.
Okay. So I still got
You
that.
said 1850 to start with, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I blinked.
Two more, but you still did get that one. To escape the control of the U.S. government, Mormon settlers found Salt Lake City. They choose the area because it's a part of Mexico. Didn't know that.
Mormons? What is that, like 19...
I have no idea.
I have no freaking
What's his name?
idea.
Joseph Smith? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, I think so. Like, is that like 1950 maybe? Maybe?
I don't know, friend.
Yeah, we'll go with that. 1950.
So you're saying between barnstorming and Kashmir.
That is correct.
1847.
Damn.
All right.
It's too wrong.
Two wrong. All right, here's your last one. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Named for a Roman god, the priest Mercurius becomes the first pope to rename himself upon taking office. He picks a less pagan name, Pope John II.
We're going to go with 1600s.
Okay, so before the Venice Council after the Venice Council and before blowing up the White House. Okay.
Yes.
533.
Damn it.
That's
I didn't.
a rough week for you in the
it was
flashbacks.
not.
You got 5 out of 8 correct.
I did not do well. I don't know my history of the Far and Middle East. I don't really know my Italian history. So there we go. Now I know what to study.
Okay, so here, real quick, is all of the reason why these were in the New York Times flashback this week. Chinese shipments to the United States have plunged, but have spiked to Southeast Asia. That was the Hauling Stones Day. To the world, he's now Pope Leo the, 14th? To his friends, he's just Bob. I would like to point out that I saw something yesterday that said, just so you all know, you're about to honor a chosen name for the next however long. So you're able to do it. You can get on board with it.
So yes, we have an American Pope, and I'm sure that everyone is all aflutter about that one way or the other. I was trying to figure out what I think about that because initially I was like, I liked the fact that we always had a Pope that was not American so that he would feel free to criticize any sort of policies that he thought were, that he be a separate entity, right? Not that I'm Catholic or anything, but, the Pope does command respect over a large group of people. Yeah. And so in that way, it's an authority, it's a power structure, and it's always good to be separate to be able to criticize authority or power. And so I thought that this kind of muddies the waters a little bit, but who knows? He seems to be a rather liberal chap concerned with social justice.
That's a good way of saying it. All right, some other things out of the New York Times. Great Salt Lake is drying up. Did you know that?
I did not. We'll have to ask our buddy Antonio about that.
And the Oscars will add a new category for stunt design in films. That was the barnstorming for you.
Oh, very good.
Okay. A proposed NASA budget would shift money from the International Space Station to a mission to Mars. There's your space station one. So if you do the flashbacks and then when you're done, it'll tell you how those events have an anchor in whatever is current events are happening right now.
Very good. Thank you.
No one likes to be told what to do.
And now is the time in the program where we tell you what to do. Amanda, what should we do?
I think you should explore digital gardening. Is this a term that you have heard of?
Is it a game?
No.
Like
No,
Animal
like you grow
Farm?
a garden. No.
All right, go ahead.
I learned about it this week. It's a metaphorical approach to curating and sharing personal knowledge or ideas online. So it's supposed to be an anecdote for doom scrolling. So instead of just sitting there and scrolling and watching all of the reels and all of the TikToks and just getting further down the rabbit hole, it's a way of when you find, say you come across a video on a sourdough bread starter, right? Instead of just saving that and moving on, you drop it into your digital garden, and there are apps that do this, and then you can kind of web things to it. So when you see a recipe somewhere, you can put it in your digital garden for sourdough starting, and it's a way of curating stuff that makes it more of an active creation than just passive information taking in. It reminds me of what I think the idea of Pinterest was in the very beginning, where you're collecting all of this stuff and putting it on your boards to do something with. Pinterest now is just giant ads, and it's really, really frustrating. So it's this idea of focusing on growth and your personal voice. The apps that you use, like Obsidian, Roam, Research. I just downloaded Craft to do it because it's a little more aesthetically pleasing. But they have interactive designs. I can't really collaborate on them. I could see how they would be helpful if you were collaborating with people on like project management. But this is more just when you're laying in bed at night and you see something like, I want to build a raised garden bed for my garden. You start to curate that piece of your digital garden. I think it's interesting. I'm going to try it.
Oh, you've not started yet, because I would have to see what you're talking about to know what you're talking about. Okay, well, that sounds interesting. Join us on that journey. Do you already have a digital garden? Do you know what Amanda's talking about? Let me know. familiarwilsons@gmail.com. All right, Amanda, that's all there is. There is no more. What do you think of that mess? And boy, was it a mess.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help it. Soccer was canceled today because we had thunderstorms and hail, which apparently never showed up. Did you know we're supposed to get light hail today?
No, I did not know that.
That was in the forecast.
I'm very
Thunderstorms and
disappointed.
light hail.
We were in the Hail Village today.
Different hails.
Oh, got it. All right, well, we cannot get out of here without thanking those people for whom we have thanks. I don't know.
I was going to say the bell tolls, and I don't know why.
No, those people without whom we would not be able to do this. So we want to thank, in no particular order, because, time is a spiral, Matt, who designs blueprints with crayons, Antonio, who speaks in hushed tones, Josh Scar, who is closed on Tuesdays, Danny Buckets, Danny, do not lick the frogs again, Chicken Tom, who clucks twice in approval, Monique from Germany, makes it to brunch on time, Joey, Refined Gay Jeff, who comes with velvet ropes and complimentary cocktails, Mark and Rachel, with all the jazz hands and inexplicable giggles, and Dan and Gavin. We are still looking for the
end of the rainbow.
So thank you all very, very much, and we love you.